Now, we've just had Valentine's Day, so I thought I'd take a perusal of some of my more humiliating dates over the years for your entertainment. I'm speaking of, anyone here been on a date recently? Give me a whoop. A few legends in the house. Was there a whoop over there? Do I hear a whoop? Maddie has legged it for the toilets at the first indication. Who whooped? Oh, was it whoop? So, where was your date to?
It's for you to answer.
Krusty's. To Krusty's?
Nice.
Big top roller in the corner there. Took you to Krusty's?
Oh, yeah, of course, mate.
Did he pay?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a bit patronising, mate. It's 2025. Come on.
Yes, you should be the one paying that.
But no. I mean, I had a memorable date recently. I was talking to a local Montrealer, and she said, "Hey, listen, I know a really cool date. It's groovy underground dive bar." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm just peaked. What are you thinking?" "Bar Biff Tech." Ooh, God, romance is dead, I thought. And then I remembered I was on Hinge. Romance was cremated in 2022 to make energy so that physics kids could use ChatGPT. I mean, it could have been worse. She could have taken me to that groovy underground dive bar, Gertz. But nothing but love for Gertz. I mean, it wasn't my worst day of last year. I was on a day in Barbosa with a recent McGill grad. We'll call it Rosalind. And I was struck by a moment of sheer terror as I felt my voice start to go. Now, as any of the girls from these stories can tell you, I rely far too much on my British accent to make up for the total lack of flirting ability. So this was an existential threat. Now, unfortunately, Rosalind went to the toilet. I sprang to the bar, convinced the absolute legend of a barman to lend me his teapot and one thing of herbal tea mix in exchange for a 40% tip on my cocktail. Unfortunately, they didn't have any mugs. So Rosalind came back from the toilet to find me necking scalding tea direct from the teapot, ironically scalding my throat, mouth and lips. Unsurprisingly, the only thing I locked mouths with that night was the porcelain of that teapot. A few weeks later, I walked into Ye Olde, with a few friends. Waitress comes over. "Hey guys, what can I get for you?" "Hey, Rosalind!" Safe to say, it was less of a happy hour and more of an awkward hour, judging by the absence of the happy hour discount on my tab and the addition of a "you were noisy" surcharge. Ironic, if she'd looked past the tea incident, she would have known I'm more of a pillow princess personally, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, to be fair, any 23-year-old who's still using Snapchat as their primary means of communication is a walking red flag, so it was probably the big man upstairs doing me a favour. If it wasn't, the guy really owes me now, because I was a girl I was seeing for a few weeks who asked me last semester if I wanted to do something tonight. Now, being a man of class and culture, I deleted the "do you count as something" I typed into iMessages, and instead offered her tickets to Players Theatre's Hands of God, latest play. I thought, a theological piece? The acting, superb. Direction, magnificent. The Pringles I snuck in, crunchy. I did everything right, except read the synopsis. I spent 2 hours sitting there in shock and horror, watching my relationship crash and burn before me, as on stage, a demented sock puppet attached to the arm of a 15-year-old boy occasionally shagged other sock puppets on stage, while the mother of said boy shagged a 17-year-old. Thank you, players. Unsurprisingly, at half-time, my date left, and I let her walk home alone, because stupidly, I felt a certain debt to my friend the lead. As I was walking home, alone, hands frozen cold, despite the warm handshake I got from said lead, a large part of me wondered if it was too late for the "do you count as something" text. It was. I was cooked. But no, I mean, to be fair, I'm not the only hapless romantic of McGill. I mean, my mate Nick Arati was single this Valentine's. But he's also been watching How I Met Your Mother recently. So he presented us with a scheme that I could only imagine came from the playbook of Barney Stinson. It went something like this. He goes, "Guys, so I rock up to the gym Valentine's night, right? Only single ladies. And I bring a load of roses and just start shooting my shot like a pea shooter. Pew, 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 pew. Classic American. Now, there were just a few flaws with this plan we had to point out. First of all, Nick has been early to one event in his life, and that was ejaculation. So I knew exactly what would happen. He'd sleep in, he'd push it back a day, spend his Saturday getting beaten to absolute shite by the ripped women of McGill as he offered them wilted roses as he did the squat. Not to mention, I'm fairly sure that the rose scheme borders on the thorny charge of harassment, so... I enjoyed that, says. But no. I mean, I would love to have Nick's casual, sort of go with the flow attitude when it came to girls. But, I mean, A, I'm all for the flow, but I'd like to know whether it uses Outlook or Google Calendar. And B, I need glasses, but refuse to wear them, so I've been fighting the nerd allegations ever since it got out that I run a Dungeons and Dragons group. And the risk if I approach a girl without my glasses on is I fail to discern the hope in their eyes, the belief in her fellow students that can only mean she has never worked with any of her fellow students, and it is, in other words, a first year. Now, I am really keen to not drop a date off at RBC again. Now, in my defence, I didn't know she was a first year. I'd asked her in a class, and the date took on something of a bomb disposal vibe. Once you dropped into conversation how shit cafeteria food was at the moment. So, safe to say, going forward, I will be inspecting rental lease agreements before asking out any girl without my glasses. I mean, while I'm dropping romance gold dust, I might as well warn the fellas in the crowd. Never ask your ex to borrow a screwdriver. You're leaving yourself way open to the, well, screwing was never really your forte. Clap back. No, I mean, following all these shenanigans, my mates had a word the other day. They sat me down and said, listen, Rhys, you're trying very hard, but I think it might be best if you spend some time alone. And yeah, they're right. I mean, having those total morons as my wingmen is exactly what's been holding me back all this time. I mean, my mate Angus was giving me a house tour the other day. That joke. He goes, right, this is the bed. That's where the action happens, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I do know what you mean, Angus. That's not an innuendo, mate. I mean, you need only the faintest grasp of the English language to understand what you've just alluded to. And to be honest, even the deaf or foreign probably have quite a good idea when you followed with a massive hip thrust. Now, to be fair, the poor man was under a lot of stress at the time. I mean, he just found out that I was going to be frosh leading his girlfriend. He was getting a lot of chat for having a girlfriend in first year. And he was mildly concerned I might accidentally kill some of my froshies. I mean, I've heard it's like speeding points, no less than 3 in a year, and you don't have to retake the training. Anyway.